Okay. Good afternoon, students. So today we are learning about NoSQL databases. That is the third chapter of your syllabus. That is NoSQL or NoSQL databases. Okay. Me properly. You can reply me on chat. Okay. So we are learning about the NoSQL databases. That is the third chapter of your syllabus. So what are the things that are there in your syllabus is about the background of RDBMS. What are the issues of RDBMS, how RDBMS is not suitable for handling big data, and then why NoSQL databases, and who are the people who are using NoSQL databases and which databases they are using, what is CAP theorem, and then what are the business drivers, like what are the things which are forcing us to go for NoSQL databases for performing any operation such as analytics. So the business drivers are volume, velocity, variability, and agility of our big data. Then what are the case studies, categories, and how NoSQL is going to manage this big data. Okay, so I've created some background in the last lecture about this. So I'll go quickly through that background, and then today maybe I'll take time to explain you about CAP theorem and business drivers and how NoSQL is using multiple techniques to manage big data. Okay, so see, this is a very vast topic. We are not learning into that much depth, but we are going to have the introduction part of it, like how on the higher level how NoSQL databases and this. Okay, so what are the topics here? We are talking about RDBMS, how it is not suitable. Then what is NoSQL? Who are the people who are using it, and which kind of NoSQL databases they are using? What is CAP theorem? These are the factors which are asking or which are forcing us to go for NoSQL databases, and how NoSQL is going to manage this big data. And this other these two topics I'll merge together. NoSQL categories and NoSQL case studies I'm going to merge together. Key value ka example is DynamoDB, Amazon ka DynamoDB that I'm going to take, and I'm going to explain key value along with the case study. Then the second one is about these are the four main categories of NoSQL databases: key value store, column store, document store, and graph store. So I think by the end of the lecture you should be familiar and you should be by hearted. Like there are four NoSQL databases that are there in the syllabus. Key value, where everything is stored in the form of key value. Like when we are so it is more suitable for Amazon ka shopping cart, where wherever we are selecting any item, that ID is a key and the value is the actual item or the quantity or some information about it. So key value, it is stored only this two information, two types of information in DynamoDB. So Amazon DynamoDB के लिए, because here the volume is big and velocity is high. So key value store they are using is DynamoDB. Then column store is the Hadoop's database where we can extract the entire column. Document store is MongoDB that you must be knowing, and you must have done some practicals in that or experiments previously in previous subjects in MongoDB. So I suppose that most of you are familiar with MongoDB, but we'll see that. And graph store is Neo4j example. So these two topics I'm going to combine together, and I'm going to have one lecture for that. Key value with DynamoDB, column store with HBase, like this. Okay. So next four lectures will be one case study per day. And today I'm going to concentrate on CAP theorem, that is consistency should be there, availability should be there for the database, and per partition tolerance should be there. So our database, if it is a big data or any kind of data, the data should be in the consistent state. So C for consistency, A for availability, and P for partition tolerance. So I'm going to concentrate on what is CAP theorem. Then I'm going to tell you about how this volume, velocity, variability, agility is going to affect us and asking us to use the NoSQL databases for doing analytics query. Okay, and then we are going to learn what are the different techniques that are used by NoSQL databases to manage big data. Okay, because it is a case of distributed system. So here we are going to compare this with distributed system and the faults of distributed system, which are how they are managed in NoSQL databases. So my objective for today's lecture is about CAP theorem, business drivers, and NoSQL techniques. for managing big data. Okay, that is there. And next four lectures are the categories and case studies. This is the entire syllabus of your subject big data at chapter 3. And the reference book is that Wiley publication, which is your textbook. Okay, so I'm using for this case studies and categories. I'm referring internet also, and for preparing the slides, I've referred the internet some information. But I have covered each and every point which is there in the textbook while preparing the PowerPoint. So it is my presentation is today's presentation is created by assuming your exam questions. So if there are how to answer a particular exam question with respect to the textbook, and textbook all the concepts are there in the PowerPoint presentation plus some extra from net. Okay, so last time what we studied is that in case of RDBMS, if you are still we are using RDBMS, even if the low cost alternatives are there like MySQL, SQLite is there, it is more suitable for transactions kind of applications, and it supports join. There are nested queries also, and it is suitable for the predictable data. Like we know the structure of the data, we know how many rows and columns are there, and every row has that fixed number of columns. So in such a scenario, still we are using RDBMS. It is not like that because NoSQL databases are there, so we have stopped using RDBMS. RDBMS will continue for the existing applications for storing the transactional information, because RDBMS also has its own advantages. It is more secure than NoSQL databases. So for some of the write operations where lots of write operations are there, or if transactional data is there, RDBMS is still used. Okay, but with explosion of data and the problem such as object relational mismatching of objects. So we know that we are using object relational kind of layers in while writing the high level applications, where normally you have the classes with respect to the table in the RDBMS. If suppose you are having employee table, you have the employee class in your object oriented program, and your class is mapped to that particular table. So when you fire a query, the record is brought, and it is available in the form of object for your program to operate on. Okay, so see, whenever we are writing any program, we are writing the instructions, and that instructions are operating on some data, and how the data is stored for a program in the form of variables. So what we do is that we have some data structure, and the data is brought into that data structure, and your programs are working on that data structure. So if your databases are used, we map the tables with the corresponding class, and when we fire the query, the data is brought into a object, and the object is residing into the memory, and your code is executing on that object. Okay, so this object relational for example, if you have used Hibernate framework, then you can relate all these things. So in that case, we have to do so many things in an object relational mapping is used, and then it becomes costly, because it is a time consuming job, as well as if your structure of your table is changed, you need to change the program also, your code. So it is costly, and because of normalization joins, even if we feel that they are giving the advantages, but when the size of the data is increased, it's expensive in terms of cost also, uh, and the time for execution, because whenever there is any complex query without a join or nested query, it takes time to execute, and if the data size is big, then though it is not permitted to have such long time to execute the query. Okay, so this I told you last time. In any database, we are any transaction. These are the properties that should be there for the transaction. ACID property. The transaction should be atomic. It should be data should be data after the execution of the transaction. Data should be in the consistent state. One transaction should be isolated or independent of other transactions, and it should be durable. Like once the changes are done, they should be there permanently inside the system. Okay, so this also I have explained you in the last lecture, that any transaction, for any transaction, these are the four properties that are associated with ACID property: atomic, consistency, isolated, and durability. And as we have to go for distributed system. I told you that in case of distributed system, any distributed system should have all these things as a goal or advantages that we get from distributed system. That the system should be reliable, it should be fault tolerant. If anything is failed in the system, that transparency should be there to the end user. A system should recover itself. It should be scalable. Then it should allow you to share the data. Then it should be flexible. It should be high speed, open system, so that easily we can go on adding the new components and well performance. So this why I'm talking is that because we need to go for distributed computing, and these are the things which should be there. And we I just want to tell you that how Hadoop is providing all these things, and NoSQL is also in line with that features. Okay. But the disadvantages in case of any distributed system is about troubleshooting and diagnosing the problem. Then networking and transmission problem may be there, or the less software tools are available, or it may be less secure because your data is distributed. It is not at one location. So these are the problems. Um, so if we try to see the differences between RDBMS and actually during the entire lecture only we are going to compare RDBMS and NoSQL. So this is not only the comparison. For each and every slide, you can see the difference between no RDBMS and NoSQL. But right now you can remember that relational database management system is a relational, structured data, organized data. These are the examples: Oracle, MySQL, and it is highly consistent. In case of RDBMS, the data is highly consistent. If you do any change at one place, the change will be immediately reflected at some other places. So it is designed in such a way. But NoSQL databases mean your data is unstructured, unpredictable. You don't know how many columns are there. For one row, you may have one column. For other row, you may have 10 columns. So it is not structured, or it can be a document, or it can be audio, video. And these are the types, four types: key value, column, document, graph. And it prioritizes high performance. Here it is giving the priority to consistency. RDBMS gives the priority for consistent data, so performance is low, but here the priority is for the high performance, high availability, and scalability, and the data is not with tight consistency. Here the data is with tight consistency, but here the data is not with tight consistency. Means you may get some discrepancy whenever you are firing any query if the right operation is done by someone else. But eventually, after some time, all the data will become consistent. That is called as eventual consistency. NoSQL databases are designed in such a way that you may not get a tight consistency. Means immediately you may not get the reflected changes in the system. But eventually, after some time, the data and the coordination will happen, and you may be able to see the consistent data. It may not be at the fractions of seconds, but eventually, after some time, within some time gap, you may find out the consistency. And here the SQL is a language, but there is no such a declarative language. So, but we may have to use APIs, and some query techniques are tools are available for some on the top of your Hadoop. Okay, such as Hive. If you are creating a data warehouse, then we can fire some kind of queries, or we can write down some kind of scripts, such as for the big language we have big Latin scripts uh, through to get the data in the form of query. And here for NoSQL there is no predefined schema. For RDBMS, SCID property should be followed, but here it is not following SCID property, but it is following something similar to that, that is called as CAP theorem. Okay, RDBMS, it is compulsory that every transaction should have these properties, ACID property. Every transaction should be atomic, consistent, durable. But here, in case of NoSQL, they are not following ACID property, but they are following similar to ACID something called as CAP theorem, where C means consistency, A means availability, and P means partition tolerance. So we'll see that in the next slide. And the transactions they follow like base, that is basically available soft state um, transactions. Okay, So with respect, so as we are saying that NoSQL databases are highly scalable. Okay, highly scalable. So what is meant by scalability? Scalability means we want to improve the capacity of the system, because suddenly the load is there and your website has become very famous, and then your website should not crash. It should allow more people to use the application. So till 2005, people were trying to do the vertical scaling. Like they used to, if they used to have two CPUs, they used to have a machine with four CPUs. Instead of 1 GB, they used to have 2 GB RAM, or hard disk capacity instead of 20, it's 40 GB. So you just upgrade your machine. So till 2005, there was a trend to upgrade the existing system or existing server, but that is called as vertical scaling. And upgrading such a server means that you are increasing memory or storage, but it is very costly. You get the new server with the cost. So after that, they realized that it is not going to work, and they came out with the things such as horizontal scalability, where instead of having one machine, you can have one machine added in the system. Like this, you can go on adding the machines. So it is very easy to scale. So if the load is high, you go on adding the machines, and if the load is less, you can go on removing the machines. Depending on your requirement, you can have multiple computers, and your job is distributed, and your data is also distributed. So NoSQL systems may data store can be much faster, as it takes the advantage of scaling out, which means that we can add more nodes to the system and distribute the data over this node. So this horizontal scaling is called as scale out, and vertical scaling is called as scaling up. So these are two ways of scaling for any particular system. And NoSQL systems, they go for scale out kind of architecture, where you can go on adding more multiple nodes and distribute the load over this nodes. So NoSQL is compatible with such kind of architecture. Okay, so this slide just tells you about the scalability, and it is, we are saying no NoSQL databases are highly scalable. So how they are scalable? Because they are going for scale out kind of architecture and horizontal scaling. So they are highly scalable. And vertical, if any system such as RDBMS, if it is going for vertical scaling, then it is not flexible. It is not easy to change your machine and to buy a new server with such a high cost. And even there is a limit that how much you will increase your CPU, how many CPUs you will have, how much memory you can extend. There is some limit to it. Okay, so this is about highly scalable systems, and NoSQL is compatible to it. Finally, now we are seeing what is exactly NoSQL databases. NoSQL databases are not only SQL. Means they are not only SQL, but other than that. So what is other than that? That it is a distributed data store. It can store some petabytes, terabytes of information for the user. Your data does not require a fixed schema, though there is no fixed number of rows and columns. There are no join operations, and it typically scales horizontally. Okay, so just remember, NoSQL means all these three terms should come into your mind. NoSQL means distributed databases without schema, fixed schema. So any kind of data is allowed. It is without fixed schema. There are no join operations, and they scale horizontally. Okay, so it is not only SQL, and this Eric, he has defined NoSQL as you need to find out the systems where, like, you need to solve a problem that a relational databases are a bad fit for. Okay, NoSQL is the alternative for the problems for which relational database system is a bad fit for. You've identified any particular analytics query, and for solving the query, you come to know that your RDBMS is a bad fit. It is not suitable for your query. In that case, it is an alternative to use NoSQL databases. That is another way to look at NoSQL databases. Like what I'm trying to say is that you have a problem in your hand, and you come to know that RDBMS is a bad fit for it, or bad option to solve such kind of problem. So in that case, a good alternative is about using NoSQL databases. So it is a system which can store massive amount of unstructured data in a distributed environment. It stores the information about users, objects, and products. It's a next generation database. It can use not only SQL but some other query languages. It uses distributed architecture where multiple processors are there and the load is distributed, so it gives high performance. It uses APIs. It provides you APIs so you can easily write a program using a Java program or any other program, Python program, by using these APIs. It can manage any amount of petabytes of information and any variety of data, and it is implemented on commodity hardware. So it goes along with the Hadoop kind of architecture. Okay. So and it's a non-relational. It does not require fixed schema for join operation. There are no relations like foreign key, primary key kind of thing. Like the keys are there, primary keys are there. But जैसे RDBMS में internally that join information is stored when your tables are created. So like that, there is nothing is done. So it is fast, and data can be replicated because it should be fault tolerant. So if a particular machine is failed, data can be recovered from some other machine. Data can be partitioned, and so mostly it is horizontally scalable. So horizontally scalable means that scale out, and data is also mostly horizontal partition data. Like tables are horizontally partitioned, but it depends on your application. And it is a cheap and easy way to implement because it's open source, and it's a fast access. Okay. So disadvantages are that it does not fully support relational features such as group by, join, queries, integrity referential techniques are not there. It's not that safe, or no SCID, or no declarative language, not easy in integration with other application. One NoSQL integration with other NoSQL, um, one NoSQL and one SQL integration is not that easy. Okay, and these are the multiple companies like Facebook is using Cassandra, plus Amazon is using DynamoDB, LinkedIn is using some Voldemort kind of NoSQL database. Google is using Bigtable database, NoSQL database, or this there is something called as Hypertable. Then column oriented is HBase. So all around 200 or more than 200 NoSQL databases are famous and currently in use. Okay, so this actually I had covered in the previous lecture. Now. So we will. I just wanted to take attendance. Okay, so we will start with the new topic, like new concepts about CAP theorem. Okay, this CAP theorem says that CAP theorem is also is invented by a scientist called as Briard, and he came up with this particular theorem. And this theorem says that there are three basic requirements that exist in the spatial relation when we are designing applications in the distributed architecture. Whenever we are designing any application in the distributed architecture, there are three basic requirements that should be there in any relation or any data. Your data should remain in the consistent state. Like after an update operation, all clients see the same data. It should be available 24/7, and it should be partition tolerant data. That means that system should continue working even if the communication with the server is unreliable. Like suppose there are multiple partitions created and one particular partition is inaccessible, still the system should recover and should continue uh, communicating with the other parts of your system. Okay, so are you understanding? There are three things that should be there with respect to the data. That is, the data should remain in the consistent state. It should be available always for any distributed application. Plus, it should be partition tolerance. Means some portion of your distributed system is not working. Still, that part of data should be available, and some other component should be able to communicate with that particular data. So that means if replication is used, we can solve the problem. So these three properties should be there: consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. So it is, but we have this theorem says that, but there is an observation that it is impossible to fulfill all three requirements at the same time. Like whenever we are writing an algorithm, we say that if we concentrate to reduce the time of execution, the space will be large for the program. When you are writing any program, your space requirements will be high if you concentrate on the less time of execution. And if you concentrate on saving of the space, the time of execution will be high. So similar to that, they are saying that here that there are all these three things we cannot achieve at the same time. So we have to compromise on one particular feature. Okay. What is meant by that? Like here, the in the diagram, the C means consistency, A means availability, and P means partition tolerance. So some of the systems, they gives you proper highly consistent data and highly available data. That is RDBMS. So RDBMS is perfect in providing the tight consistency. Your data will be in the consistent manner. Immediately you will be able to see the changes, and it will be highly available. But it is not that partition tolerance. Suppose some portion of your data is inaccessible, it will not be available. So it is not that partition tolerant data. If you divide or distribute your data and store it on different machines, and then it may be less partition tolerant, the system. Okay, or if AP means it should be highly available and highly partition tolerant data. But if you concentrate on these two features, it will the system will provide less consistency. And the example databases are Cassandra and DynamoDB of Amazon. So here they are not bothered about providing tight consistency, and they are saying that immediately, eventually, after some time, you will see the consistent data, but you may not see the consistent data immediately at the same time. Okay, so these are the databases who concentrate on availability and partition tolerance. While MongoDB or HBase, MongoDB is a document-oriented NoSQL, HBase is a column-oriented NoSQL databases. They provide you high partition tolerance and high consistency, but they may not be available. They may not be available for some time, depending on the problem in the system. Okay, so CAM is it is a single site cluster. Therefore, all the nodes are always in contact. The CA RDBMS, it is a single site cluster, and when the partition occurs, the system blocks. Or CP means consistency and partition tolerance. Some data may not be accessible, but the rest of the data is consistent and accurate. Or AP means system is still available under partition, but some of the data is returned may be inaccurate, may not be in the consistent manner. Okay, that's what I explained you with the help of diagram. So in the exam, CAP theorem is an important topic, and they ask you the question for it is combined with some other question, and maybe the weightage for this particular topic is three marks. Okay, so this is also some same thing, but some other points are there. So we'll see here some more examples that AP is followed by this DynamoDB, Voldemort, or Cassandra. Consistency and partition tolerance is MongoDB, Bigtable, HBase, and here for this CA, RDBMS, Postgres data is there. Okay, so I told you about this. I've just added this slide so that you can refer it while writing, preparing the answer. Okay, so now what are the advantages of NoSQL? Highly available distributed data, computing is lower, cost is less, open source databases are available. Then schema flexibility is there, semi-structured, unstructured data can be there, no complicated relationships are there. And the disadvantages are there is no standardization, so limited query capabilities or eventual consistency. Okay, so this Bayes theorem is a acronym for basically available soft state eventual consistency. Okay, so this Bayes is known for formulating this CAP theorem. Okay, Bayes is an acronym that is basically available, soft state, eventual, consistency. So NoSQL databases, they follow BES, and BES is defined by the scientist Eric Brewer, and this also this is used to formulate CAP theorem. And CAP theorem states that in a distributed computer system, we cannot guarantee to have all these three properties at the same time. So this is the statement for the CAP theorem. CAP theorem says that in a distributed environment, whenever your data is distributed or your system is programs are distributed, we cannot guarantee all these three properties at the same time. That is consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. And base is defined by this Brewer, where basically available means this indicates that the system does guarantee availability in terms of CAP theorem. Soft state means that the system will go on changing the states. Okay, whenever we write the program and the program is in the execution, it goes on changing its state. The system always goes on changing the state. So like this, it indicates that the system may change over time, even without input. Okay, and eventual consistency indicates that the data will be consistent over a period of time, not immediately whenever it receives the input. Okay, so this is defined by Eric Brewer, which is used to formulate CAP theorem. And CAP theorem says that distributed system does not guarantee all these three properties to be there at the same time. Okay, so I think you have understood about CAP theorem. The overall weightage for this particular topic is 3 to 5 marks. In the exam and in alternate papers, they ask you about CAP theorem along, and this question is merged with some other question. So it is a sub question, normally typically asked in the exam. And NoSQL databases, they follow CAP theorem. That you have to remember by this time. Okay, so we move on to the next topic, that is what are the business drivers which are forcing us to go for NoSQL databases. So this is similar to big data, that high volume, high velocity, high variety, and high agility is if it is there, then your single CPU RDBMS system breaks. It cannot survive to all these things. So in that case, we have to go for this NoSQL databases. Okay, so this diagram just only tells you that this all these four drivers, they break your single CPU RDBMS system, and how they are breaking, we'll see that. Suppose you are having a high volume, then your current RDBMS system um, will not be able to access your big data. It will take lots of time to fire. If whenever you fire the query, it will take a lot of time to give you the answers if it is a single RDBMS system is used. So people try to use GPUs instead of CPUs. They try to use GPUs, onboard CPU memory, but they have found that there is something called as power wall problem. What is this power wall problem? Is that even if the GPU is working, but it dissipates, it, it dissipates so much of it that your chip will get overheated. Whenever it is doing any transactions, the chip will be overheated, and it will not withstand with the pressure. Okay, so the systems designers had this particular phenomena forced the system designers to shift their focus from increasing the speed from single chip to using more processors, means the distributed architecture. Okay, I think you have understood this. What I'm trying to tell you is that if the volume of the data is increased, then people try to use GPUs kind of processors. But there is a phenomena called as power wall, according to which whenever GPUs are processing such a high big data, that the GPU chip is overheated, and it may destroy the hardware. So it doesn't work properly. So it is that's why the system designers had to think of another strategy of horizontal scaling. Okay, so they came up with the new strategy of scale out, where the data is distributed and processing is distributed, for example. And by that time, this technology were also available: HDFS, Hadoop, HBase. So NoSQL databases are designed because HBase is a NoSQL database on the top of Hadoop. and they are designed in such a way that they work with this architecture of horizontal scale. Then high velocity because sometimes your data is getting generated so fast that your system should rapidly read and write the data. Okay, and the single processor RDBMS systems are unable to keep up these demands. For example, the frequency of online queries to database made by public-facing websites, social networking, e-commerce websites, they have to be read or written in real time. Okay, so why this is happening? Because you are having indexing done, normalization done, and whenever any row is to be updated, again the indexing ka logic or something is done, executed by the database management system in the background, and that decreases the speed, and your data is generated so fast that it is not matching with that performance of your single processor RDBMS. Cannot handle this. For example, suddenly suppose your website may you are declaring some discount, then or there is something trending news going on, then there will be a random burst in the web traffic, and that if you are using RDBMS system, it will slow down the response for everyone, and then the system may crash also. Okay. So here what we are trying to say is that because of the high velocity of big data, if we are using single processor RDBMS systems, single processing RDBMS systems in the background, they use this indexing operations, joins, foreign key constraints. So when we do any updation on the data, that time lots of things are happening in the background by the RDBMS system, and this decreases the speed of read and write operation, so the system may fail. And if there is suddenly the load of your website is increased, then it cannot handle that so many users. A single server cannot handle so many users. In that case, system may fail. Variability means that a high variety of data, different types of data is not possible. Always you have a fixed structure. And what happens is that suppose you want to add one particular field, even if the data today, suppose in the customer table, suppose there are four columns, and tomorrow you are adding two extra columns, then whatever data is there in the beginning, all that values for that particular new two columns, they will be the blank. Okay, so we are wasting the storage. What I'm trying to say is that if you are updating any table, alter table command, say if you are trying to change the structure of the table, then some of the rows will have that columns as a null value, and some of the rows will have some value. So even if only one customer need to have 10 columns and other customer need to have only 4 columns, just such flexibility is not there. And even if you add it, other so many rows will have the blank data or null data, and the storage ka wastage is also there. Or for alter table command, you have to shut down the system, do the changes, and restart the system. That you have to do with RDBMS. But for NoSQL, you don't have to do that. Runtime may you can alter the because the flexibility is there for your database. So system should be available. Here, system will not be available when you shut down the system. Okay, so agility may um, like in case of RDBMS, putting data into the system and getting data out of the system is complex. For example, we are using object relational mapping and nesting of queries. And so in that case, with Hibernate kind of system, you need to have the correct combination of all the statements, insert, update, delete, and SQL to get the right results. Okay. And this process is not simple, because you need to have an experienced programmer such as the Java Hibernate expert to perform and to provide the agility to your system. Agile system means it should adapt to the changes very fast. Okay, so these are the four things which need us to which are breaking the RDBMS systems, and so we have to go for NoSQL databases. So now there are some case studies. As per the textbook, as I told you, today's lecture is as per the textbook, so you may not find a proper, maybe a proper structure, but it is from exam point of view. So they are also talking about case studies that require NoSQL databases. So if there is a question that what are the case studies when NoSQL databases are more suitable, you can list down all these cases like recommendation systems may we use, user profile management, real-time data handling, content management, 360-degree view of the customer, mobile application, IoT, fraud detection. Okay, so we'll have one line of information or two lines of information with each case study. So in case of recommendation system, highly we need NoSQL databases because nowadays, whenever you are browsing internet, you see that if it is a Bookska website, you will get the books recommendation. Music, if you visit Google Music, they will recommend you the musics, or movies are recommended to you, products are recommended to you. So you customer is there, like the data for them. They are all the systems, they are analyzing the customers and they are trying to find out what kind of customer you are, and then after studying the customer they are providing you many recommendations. So recommendations are there in each and every application. Nowadays there is no such any there is no system which will not have recommendations. So recommendations are there at each and every place. Books are recommended, music is recommended, movie, products, research articles, e-learning material, or in any travel package is recommended to you, or holiday package is recommended to you. And they are trying to identify the customer. They may provide you with the advertisements, or they may provide you with the coupon, and uh, such kind of things are done in recommendations. So in that case, you need a flexible data model. That model will on the fly will create the user profile. Okay, so as soon as you start and visit the website, on the profile dynamically on the fly, they can easily create such on the output with low latency. User profile management way we need NoSQL databases because for user, mm, we want to create, as I told you, this is with respect to the previous slide only. We want to create the user profile on the fly for some amount of time, and fast read and write performance is required for high data. And number of users are very high for so many applications. Okay, the third application can be real-time data handling. Like the enterprises, they want to increase their efficiency, they want to reduce the cost, or they want to increase the revenue. And for that, if they are using RDBMS, then it is not working because they need to extract the information in real time. So Hadoop may not be suitable for accessing the data in real time, but NoSQL is suitable for accessing the data in real time, but it is not that analytical. So together, combination of NoSQL with Hadoop can help us to handle the real time big data. Okay. So that is the third case study. Fourth case study is about the content management. Your contents are of different types of content. Plus users का reviews, photos, videos, ratings, उसका comments. If it is a social media kind of website, then user is also contributing to your website. So your website may have all these things. Your data, user generated data, and it should be managed properly. You should provide highly rich content to the end user. Even with respect to the user, the look and feel of your website changes. Okay, for so many websites, depending on your user, you can configure the GUI of that website. So you just see some of the important columns whenever you visit to the home page. So it is with respect to that user. Okay, every user can have a different view of the website. So it is a huge job, And for such job also you need a big data. And NoSQL are best suitable because of the flexible data model. So every user may have different columns for the user table for their record, and such thing is possible with NoSQL only. Or catalog management is also a big thing, where suppose it is a e-commerce shopping website, or if it is a shopping um, it is a shop e-shop, and in case of e-shop there is no limitation about storing how many products you can store in a shop. If it is a physical shop, there is a limit on keeping the products because of the space limitation. Space is very expensive. So depending on the space available, that shopkeeper is going to keep the products. Uh, he cannot go on keeping multiple products. But that is not a limitation for the e-shop. In e-shop, that shopkeeper can go on keeping multiple products in the shop, and then he has to maintain the catalog that how many how many products are there, and that itself is a big application. Because because one can there are in your organization there are multiple applications running on. Every application may want to view this catalog in a different manner. Okay, so multiple applications may require multiple views of your catalog of products which are there in the shop or in the enterprise. And in that case, it is a huge job of catalog management, and that is changing dynamically with respect to the application. So in that case also, NoSQL databases are used because they can aggregate the catalog into a single database due to their flexible data model. Okay, so another example is they want a 360-degree view of the customer. So what we can do is that we can get the structured data of the customer, his transactional data from the transactions, his unstructured data from his Twitter account, Instagram account. And what we do is that we can develop a framework, combine all the data into that framework, and analyze it to have a 360-degree view of the customer. We don't only analyze the transactional information of the customer, but we analyze his unstructured data posted on social media websites also. So we want to integrate structured unstructured data uh, in the application, and we want to analyze that with the help of APIs. So NoSQL will allow you to do that. So it is a best suitable for such kind of applications, because it enables multiple applications to access the same customer data, but to add new attributes without affecting other applications. So you don't have to shut down the system. Whenever you want to add one particular column in your table, you don't have to shut down the system. You can easily have multiple columns for a particular customer. So one customer may have 10 columns, other customer may have only 2 columns. That is fine. You can easily shut down the system without affecting the application. So last, it's getting over only. The lecture is getting over only just now. Let me finish 5 minutes. Okay, so I was. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Uh, okay. So I'll just take only 5 minutes because the time is getting over, and give me 5 minutes of time to finish the last point. Okay. What I was trying to tell you is that in case of distributed system architectures, whenever we are writing any distributed application, our data can be shared in between multiple programs. Like if your data is stored at one in the shared RAM, and all the components, all the programs of your system are accessing that shared data. And if the data is shared, then race conditions are to be used, or lock is to be acquired when we are updating the data. For read operation, it is not a problem, but for write operation, you need to acquire the lock on the data, or race conditions you have to use, or semaphores you have to use, and it becomes complicated. Or if you are writing any distributed application, your data is stored on a disk, and the disk is shared between multiple parts of your program, so that all the program modules are accessing the disk, and the data is on the disk. But in that case also, data is at one location, and multiple components are accessing the single computer or single hard disk, and then the traffic problems are there if your data is big. And there is one more architecture that is possible with distributed programming, is a shared nothing architecture. So I think this is little bit complicated because you have not studied distributed systems till now. But right now, just try to understand, if you are writing a distributed program, means the program is not residing on a single computer. Your some part of program is running on one machine, some part of program is running on other machine. Like RMI kind of architecture, remote method invocation kind of architecture, or CORBA architecture. Then your RAM can be shared or disk can be shared, and your programming becomes very complicated. But there is one more architecture called as shared nothing, means don't share anything. Such architecture is also possible, and our big data and NoSQL, they follow shared nothing architecture. That's what I'm trying to tell you in this particular slide. Okay, but there is some exception, like for graph store, Neo4j, your data is represented in the form of a graph. Neo4j is more suitable for social media kind of applications, where your Facebook may node is representing a person, he is a friend of another person, and one node represent one person. Okay, so that data can be represented in the form of a graph, and then various graph traversal techniques will come in that uh, graph store. So it is not possible in that case. So in that case, everything should be there into the RAM. So it may not be following 100% shared nothing architecture, but all other NoSQL databases, they follow shared nothing architecture. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, I think you have understood this. Whenever, I'll just summarize it again. Whenever you are writing any distributed application, your data can be shared in the form of a RAM, or your data is stored on a disk, and that disk is accessed by all the parts of your program, all the components of your program. Because the program is distributed, program is not residing on one machine. Program ka some part of your program is on one machine, some part of your program is on other machine. Means some objects on one machine, some objects on other machine, and the objects interact with each other because of computer networking. We feel that all the objects, see, whenever you are writing any object oriented program, you are creating the objects, and all the objects are residing on the same machine, for a single for a non-distributed application. But for distributed application, it is possible to have some objects running on one machine, some objects running on other machine. And in that case, if the data is shared, if the data can be stored on a single disk, all the components, they access the shared data on the disk. Or the data is stored on the RAM, and all the components are accessing the data from the same RAM. And the programming is complicated. But there is one type of architecture possible, that is shared nothing architecture. And I'm trying to say you that NoSQL and big data with Hadoop, they are following share nothing architecture. So don't share anything. Architecture is used. So they don't share anything between different parts of your application. Nothing is short. Every part of your program or every distributed portion of your application is separate from each other. Okay, they are executed parallelly at the same time. But there is some exception for Neo4j because it is a graph data and graph operations are to be executed inside a RAM. So they are slightly different in performing computation. So that's what is there in the slide. And the last part is that NoSQL databases, they make the distribution of data, like how to distribute the data now. So in case of distributed, this both the slides, they are talking about distributed architectures. If you are writing any distributed application, how to do. Data can be shared in the form of RAM or disk or no sharing. Or whenever you want to distribute the data, there are two techniques that are used. One is called as a sharding technique and replication technique. So in case of replication, replicated values are available at multiple places. And sharding means that you distribute your table in the form of partitions. So one partition is called as a shard. So it can be a horizontal partition of a large table database. Like if you have the department table, then the table is divided into suppose two shards, means two partitions, depending on the location ID. So if Mumbai location is there, all the records of Mumbai will be in the one partition, and all the records of Chennai will be in the other partition. So you divide or distribute your table database with respect to some condition, and it is a horizontal partitioning of this distributed database. Okay, so what we are talking here is that whenever you want to distribute the data on multiple computers, what are the techniques? The techniques are sharding and replication. You can have a replicated data available at multiple places, and whenever there is any change, all the replicated servers, they coordinate with each other and make the data in consistency. And sharding means horizontally partition the data. Some records are residing at some location, other records are residing at other location. Okay, and create the shards by some strategy. Okay, so in case of like here, this HBase and Cassandra are the examples of NoSQL databases, and HBase is following master slave architecture where replication is done and one authority copy is there, and master slave architecture is used. And Cassandra uses peer-to-peer architecture where there is no master and no slave. All the nodes, they are coordinating with each other, and slowly after some time data will be in the consistent state. But here in case of Space, the replication is used to distribute the data. Okay, so we'll stop here because the time is over. 1:35. Okay, so maybe you might have got that different scattered points were there, but today's topic was like that. So from next lecture onwards, we will see the case studies. That time you will understand. There's only one type of question which is asked in the exam on this topic about the difference between NoSQL and RDBMS. Okay, so see you tomorrow.